My name is Amber. I'm 17 and I have this STD called syphilis. I know what you're thinking. I'm just some stupid teenage girl who had stupid unprotected sex. That's not how it is really. About 2 months ago, I had sex for the first time. It was with Sean, my boyfriend, someone who I had known for a long time and someone who I trusted. Before it happened, we talked about everything. We were ready and knew that we'd be together for a lot more time to come. I was on the pill, but Sean and I even talked about the chances of pregnancy. What we didn't discuss, though, was the risk of sexually transmitted diseases. I knew Sean had dated other girls in the past. He told me he'd had sex before, and I was okay with that. I didn't notice anything on his body that was unusual or that looked suspicious, so I wasn't worried. It turns out I should have been, because a few days later I had a couple of small, hard sores. They didn't hurt, but when they didn't go away, I wondered if they came from having sex. I knew that you could get diseases that way, but I thought it was really uncommon, and only people who were really irresponsible about sex got them. I knew I had to ask Sean if he had an STD, but it made me really nervous. What if he already knew he had one, and didn't tell me on purpose? Maybe he didn't know, and finding out would make him angry. Would he blame me for it? Even worse, what if I tested positive and he didn't have one at all? Would he ever come near me again? But I knew I had to tell him, so he would go to the doctor. Otherwise, I could get syphilis again. Eventually, I got up the courage to ask Sean if he'd ever had anything like what I did, and what he told me was really scary. He got the sores too after he'd been with his last girlfriend, but then he also had strange dark red rashes on his hands and got fevers all the time. He didn't think it came from the girl because she told him she had only been with guys who promised they had been tested. After a while, the rashes and sores faded away, so he thought he was all right. After we talked about it, we both got tested. Sean and I both tested positive for syphilis, which didn't come as a surprise. It can be cured pretty quickly with a shot of penicillin, so I feel really lucky. The doctors say that if Sean had never realized he has had the STD, that he may have ended up crippled or with mental illness. Sean told his ex-girlfriend about what happened. She ended up getting tested too. She was positive also. Luckily she found out she had it, because if she ever had children, untreated syphilis can cause babies to be born deformed, but mostly they die before birth. Sean and I broke up. Now we both know that you have to pay attention to the symptoms, because they can get worse and cause serious damage. I know that when I get a new boyfriend in college, I'll have to ask him if he's ever had rashes or symptoms, and I'll have to tell him I had syphilis. I'll hope that he trusts me when I say that I've been treated for it, and I also hope that he understands that because of all this, I've chosen abstinence until marriage.
STDs are dangerous and not something to make light of. They are gross and can be deadly. Syphilis has 3 different stages and can cause much pain and damage, some of which is irreversible. The sores are disgusting and extremely noticeable. Luckily, syphilis can be cured pretty easily. That is not the case for all STDs, though. Remember, the best way to avoid getting an STD is not to have sex at all.